Welcome to the farmers that made it to come here and to join us today. So we are a team working with the Ministry of Agriculture with a special focus on sustainable agriculture, bringing a little bit of information in terms how we are producing food in other parts of the world, in a sustainable way, and what exactly that means, to be sustainable. And basically one of the major focus that we would like to have today is how to control the pests and diseases. You see, we have here a good set of posters, reflecting a little bit of some of those major pests and also invasive species that we got inside of the Caribbean. For one side, we can have the common pests that you all know, whiteflies. And last time we had the interaction with farmers, most of you talk about how difficult sometimes it's getting to control whiteflies. And some of you were saying, well, in the past with one application, two applications, I used to have a good response. Now I need to do 10 applications and still, it seems the pest is still there causing the problem. And that has a reason why, If I ask you, how many of you have been using biological agents, like biopesticides, like this one here? In terms of biological, we have a different set of them. We have like Dipel. This is a bacteria. It's a microorganism that, we all suffer from viruses that cause flu, like even coronavirus in the past that affect so many people, where we got microorganisms that can kill the pest, but that does not hurt us because we are not arthropods. We are vertebrates, so that won't affect us, like coronavirus and so on. So it's very important for you to be familiarized with this because it can give you a good response to control the pests and sometimes even the diseases. There are some antagonists. That means it's a microorganism that will attack the microorganisms that cause the problem, the disease in your crops. So, but we need to know how to use it. How we can use this good guy, instead of using chemicals. What is the problem with the chemicals? And why we think as a scientific community that we have good evidence in place that actually reflects that the problem with the chemicals, one, they are very polluted, they are contaminating water and also, the water resources, the soil. If some of you live in Mars or you can travel with the green guys to other planets, probably you won't get worried. But if you are in this planet, we have to get worried because every time you take a very heavy toxic pesticide that you are using in your farm, it goes to the soil, isn't it? And where the water reservoirs are? In the ground, isn't it? So that means if I'm using something that is super heavy in terms of toxicity and also have another characteristic, persistence, is super common that you said, but come on, someone is coming to do an evaluation of the water, but I applied that many months ago, and still the person will say, that water is contaminated. Why? Because that active ingredient, that is why it's being classified. Sometimes you see, this is green here. I am sure you saw others that they are blue, red, isn't it? The red one, you should not even touch it because some of those chemicals also go into the water, or even, imagine if that causes you trouble several weeks and months after you applied it, can you imagine how is the impact of that substance in your body? Every time you touch it, your breath, while you are applying, we will make some applications today for you to see how the wind take the substance all over. And if it's touching you, that means you will have a direct effect of that chemical on your body and also on your family, if your family is living around and drinking the same water or eating the same product. This week, some of my colleagues went to the field where I was getting well entertained with those little tiny guys that we normally call biocontrol agents, natural enemies of the pests, but they are our natural friends because they are already with you. I love Grenada. But something I really like, I said, you have been blessed in every sense because it's so beautiful. But also, God bless us with a very rich biodiversity. If you go to review, every pest here has some of those natural guys that they are already in your field controlling the pest, but no one knows them. And sometimes when you apply chemicals, you are killing the good and the bad. But the problem is when you cause this kind of, disbalance in terms of the population and applying and applying and applying. Remember we said that whiteflies are getting impossible to control now? We call it super pests. That means, especially whiteflies, aphids, mites, they are soft-bodied insects and they create resistance so fast. Every time you apply a chemical, they start to get stronger and stronger, and this is why every time farmers say, but come on, I used to apply before the same amount and I was knocking the pest down. Now it's super difficult. It's because you are having there a pest that is already a super pest that will need you to spend more money. And this is something I want to bring to your attention. Every time you apply chemicals, if it's too heavy, if it's one from the red one, in addition to all the problems in terms of your health, you are spending money. And sometimes you are not controlling because the pest is already a super pest and she's laughing. Okay, keep applying because nothing will happen with me. You will keep spending the money and nothing happen. So what we found out now, especially in Grenada, you are super rich in biodiversity. You are full of those little parasitoids, and what those parasitoids they do, you see, in this case, this is a healthy colony. That means that pest is eating your crops. It's, extracting, from the plant, the liquids, and making the plant very weak and sick. It's exactly what happens when we get sick. When we get a virus or a bacteria affecting our body. So, and this is how they look when they are super healthy and they are feeding on the crops. And here is the female population, giving the babies. And a pest, again, is a pest because they reproduce too fast. And sometimes you apply and then you see again a bunch of other pests eating your crops and you say, well, what's happening? This little lady is producing around 300 babies. Every time she's putting the babies there. Imagine you, and then you have thousands of those ladies around, super reproductive, and having, accelerating the increase of that population. So this is how the crawlers, of that pest looks like. And so what happened? This parasite comes here, and without those crawlers, they introduce the eggs inside, and they become like this. This is the same crawler, but with the parasitoid inside. You can see here the two eyes, and the parasitoid develop inside, and they created a mummy. They mummify this one, and then they develop inside of the pest. And then after, you will see that they have the exit hole in that shell. This is the adult that came from here. And those adults, they reproduce again and go back to attack the pest. With that kind of approach that we call biological control or natural control, because we are using our nature to help us, we were able to reduce significantly the croton scale, that is an invasive species. It got introduced to Grenada, and it caused a lot of issues in different tropical fruits, like soursop, guava, plum, different fruits that were attacked for that. And the major problem is, as you know, if some of you are planting some of those tropical fruits for the market, local market, or even international market, you will see that you cannot apply too many chemicals, because in the international market, they capture, that you actually have MRL, means the maximum level of residue that is allowed in the international convention. They will block the commercialization of those crops. So that means Grenada, for a while, was kind of stopped because people were saying it has too much residue, because farmers, they didn't know how to do or how to control the pests. So the good thing is, after the good guys came, the parasitoid, and also we have other species of parasitoids that are secondary, and we have the ones that they eat the pests. Those are the predators, like those lady birds that are here, chrysopa, you see with those that part in the head, they capture the prey and they eat it. And they are extremely efficient. In Brazil, where we have thousands and thousands of hectares being planted with different crops, they are applying biocontrol. There are a good amount of bioproducts in the market that you can get familiarized with. And the most important thing, then you get what we call the macroorganism attacking, and the microorganism is going to be applied exactly as you apply your chemicals. You need to have the solution, water, then they have the doses. This one is very important that you use a proper equipment because need to be well distributed and with a homogeneous application, because the larvae, this is especially for different lepidopteras, you know, that you see the larvae eating the crops. The larvae eat the leaves where you apply the product, and that is by injection. They ingest it, and then by injection is that they will have the control. They will start to kill the larvae. That means you need to ensure that your crop is well covered, you know, with that product. Anytime that the pest will come to feed, it will eat the bacteria will attack internally that larvae, and that is how it gets controlled. That said, that means that we need to have a proper technology of application. And some of my colleagues will tell you, or will take you around some of those key criteria, how to produce or organize your solution. I'm sure every time I'm in the field, I see farmers playing, using mix of things that sometimes are not compatible.
Or the water. In the water. In the water. And this die. It may reduce the eggs in, reduce the reproduction in field, reduce the eggs, and reduce the damage in the field. It's so important because you can detecting the pest in a stage early. In early stage, correct. To detect the presence of the pest in your field, and you reduce the unnecessary use for the pesticide. It's so important because the correct is helpful as identify the correct pest, because it's so specific about the pest. So you have a problem with the whitefly, you buy the pheromone but specific whitefly. You have a problem with the fall armyworm, you buy a pheromone by fall armyworm. It's specific and help us identify the pest, the correct pest, and know if the pest is present in your field. It's so important for the strategic, the ethologic control. As the other option is the stick trap, sticky traps as yellow, blue, red, and white. It attracts different pests. For tuta absoluta is blue, but by whitefly is yellow. By the other pest as fly, for example, is yellow. That if you pop the pheromone about the sticky trap, you increase the capture or the attracting the pest. It's a very important strategy for the pest management.
Organize to use that resource for monitoring. At least you keep the eyes on. Especially you have a crop that is very expensive. You don't want to lose anything. You need to have a proper monitoring. In some cases, pheromones are also used for mass trapping. Mass trapping is to bring the population down because if you don't have male, you know, luckily we have many males here. Now, imagine how sad that would be. So if you don't have male, you don't have reproduction, and then the whole population comes down. That is the idea. So we kill the male, they don't reproduce, and the pest comes down. So that can be used also for control management. So now I would like to call my colleague Natalia.
Here in Grenada, you have the beneficials or the natural enemies, as you prefer, working for you guys 24 hours a day, totally for free. So be careful. Sometimes you see an insect in your field and you want to spray something. You don't even know if it's working for you or it's a pest, and you just spray. And usually we don't have the knowledge, oh, maybe this is a red band or a green band, and we kill everything. So instead of protecting the fields, we are making even worse the outbreaks, the pests or disease outbreaks. But we do know that sometimes it's necessary to make a spray to protect the crop, because it's your main income. Like in Brazil, we need to eat. Everybody needs to eat. So before making a spraying, what do we need to decide? What I'm going to spray on my crop? What I'm going to use near my family, to my colleagues, to my Grenada folks. So we have in the market so many options, but sometimes we don't have this information. In the past, we could say, okay, I don't have information access, information, but now it's not our reality. Nowadays we have internet. Here, I'm from Brazil, but I do have internet in Grenada. Come on, guys. So you can type. We have very other websites telling you what is available in Grenada for controlling some pests. So, next step, when I decide what I want to spray, I always prefer red band and always the selective ones, right? I need to read. If you take one of these, there is what's this? Just a gift, it's just like something you need to read sometimes. It's really important what you can find here, because sometimes you spray mixing things and you are just losing money, because you are mixing products and they are not working for you anymore, because you have something else and it's not working. And then you go to your neighbor and say, these biologicals, come on, they don't work. But you are mixing chemicals with biologicals and you are killing everything. So we need to be careful and we need to read the label. But then, when we are done with these steps, we need to prepare the spray solution. Sometimes I know it's easier to mix products, insecticides with fungicides. It's easy, I coat the field once and it's done. But we need to be really careful, because sometimes inside the knapsack sprayer, I don't see what is happening inside. I just put everything here and looks great. But then inside, so I am spraying and I will spray water here and I will spray concentrated product over there. And I'm going to say, I don't know what's happening. This product doesn't work in my field. I don't want anymore. So we need to be really careful, okay? Usually it's really interesting to do the pre-mix. You get like a jar or a recipient and you mix your products. And Yelitza was telling us that some products are compatible and others are incompatible, right? Here, for example, oil and water. What do you think is going to happen? Yeah, you're going to see 2 layers. Come on, show 2 layers. Are they compatible? In some countries we have like hard water, high levels of calcium, magnesium, and for example for applying fertilizers this is not good, so we need to know what type of water you have in the country, in the island, okay? But yes, you decide to spray, so you are preparing the spray solution. From here you already need to use your PPE. I know, we all know that it's not comfortable at all, but now we are trying to make it easier and more comfortable and you can breathe, okay? So we brought this one and I need a person, a volunteer to put on, because also there is a right way to put on and to take off the PPE. It's not just putting everything and taking off in different ways. There is a certain way, a right, proper way to do that. So I invite a volunteer to come and help me. Yes, that's good, a volunteer. So we are going to start. There is the right way, right? First of all, the product. You see, first the shirt. Yes, you close.
We brought a big one just in case.
Perfect. That's right. And the rubber boots should be inside the pants, not outside, because it's not going to be on your feet. Okay, so let's pretend you have your rubber boots and then the apron. Yes, the apron. I should put on my back. Now you are spraying. Let's pretend you are spraying. Just
so you wear it the other way?
This way for preparing the spray solution. Now you be in contact with these chemical pesticides. So let's pretend you are in the field. We are going to spray your crop like this, okay? And then I need to open this. Then it's the respirator.
But probably...
Yeah, just pretend you have the respirator.
The eyes.
Then the goggles.
Safety goggles.
The safe. Yeah. And then the hat. And last but not least, the gloves. And I need to be sure I'm using good gloves. Okay, and this is a really important detail. The gloves, when I am spraying upwards, like this, outside the PPE.
For the water to come.
The water will come outside, right here. But when I'm spraying like this, inside the sleeves. This is quite important because sometimes you are doing like this and it's going inside the sleeves. It's terrible, right? Equipment, right? Is it leaking? Is it clean? The filters, how are the filters? Here you have a filter, here you have filters. It needs to be clean. Should I use for an insecticide and then I apply a herbicide? Or vice versa? The best scenario would be to have a knapsack sprayer for fertilizer or for herbicide. You have to clean. Triple rinse, okay? I spray on my field, water, I spray on the field, and then we are ready, right? The product is inside, but I'm not sure here in Grenada, how often do you change the nozzle? And do you have different types of nozzles or just one? Different ones? And the cone and the flat fan are the most common, right? So, do you use the cone for applying which kind of product?
To be honest, we don't know about different kinds, different things. That's how we use it.
For example, for the ones working in contact with the pests, which one do you use? The cone or the flat fan? Yeah. Usually they say for this type of pests like whiteflies, thrips that are underside the leaves, you need to use the cone one because you produce smaller droplets. It's like very small droplets. And for herbicides or for the products like the systemic ones, when you can have larger droplets, because you don't need to cover the target, you can use the flat fan, okay? It's just a quick guide, but again, the label will tell you what kind of nozzle you need to use, okay? But in general, the ones that need good coverage, the cone, and the ones you don't need that good coverage, you can use the flat fan. Okay, is it clear? And now you are going to pretend you are the farmer. Let's see how it's.
Yeah, with the clothing sometimes it's a little more tight.
Yeah. You see, now he's totally safe because there is no risk to get contaminated on his back.
And then for the application on it, outside.
Yeah, we can go and you can see the pattern. Yeah. We can go over there if you want, just for demonstrating. You see, this is the cone nozzle. It's very, very fine droplets. This is nice, but it's risky if you think about it. This cone, it's really good for thrips. I know you guys have problems with thrips and whiteflies because they love to be underside. It's a nightmare, huh? And the flat fan is more on the top. Okay? So now you are tired. Come on, you're so tired after you need to take off. Now we have another way to take off, right? First thing, what should I do? Wash my hands with the gloves on. Okay? Water, wash. Pretend you are washing your clothes, okay? Yes, I have here my things. And then, pretend you are removing the goggles. Remove all the goggles. Should I put my hands here or on the straps? On the straps, please. And the same for the respirator. Never, never put your hands here because your gloves are not clean. And then we are going to breathe this. So always by the straps, okay? So you are removing, and then the apron. Very good. Apron. And then this one. This is really important. I cannot do like this. My face will be in contact with the pesticide. Should be like this. This is really, really important. Great. Great.
Everything have to wash. So instead of taking out the glove already clean. So
yeah, we have already washed your gloves, okay? And then the pants, the same. It cannot touch your skin. Of course, he removed the boots, guys, to remove the pants. And last, the gloves. And I should do like this, not like this, but removing by the fingers. No way. And now wash your hands and take a shower. Should I just forget about it?
no,
I need to wash with my personal clothes?
no.
Okay, I wash it, and then I should iron this to be protected again. Should I iron here? This is plastic. No, just here. Let's put some water so you can see if it works or not. Come on, AZR. Look. You can see it's totally waterproof. If you wash your PPE and you don't iron it, it doesn't happen, okay? It's not waterproof anymore, so you need to iron again. Because it's like a rubber or something, you are protected for the pesticides, okay?
I know that sometimes it's better to be without any shirt or any clothing. I don't know if anyone of you are trying that. It will be kind of strange. But yeah, as better protected you are, you are also protecting, yourself, your family, because it's not only the protective equipment that you can use, but also the protection and the right procedures you can put in place every time you are dealing or handling, some chemicals. Especially, what means red. Red means attention, yeah? And probably you hear about our grandparents saying, when I was a kid, we didn't see so many people dying with cancer diseases or those kind of things. Every time it's getting worse and worse. And probably it's the fact that in the past we were not that exposed, in addition to Coca-Cola, to all those chemicals that we are handling in the field. So that is what is good for you to be protecting what God gave you, which is biodiversity, using biodiversity in the right way, and also inviting other farmers to keep training. One single training, it does not cover all. We hope to go with you to the field and having the same training, having the calibration of the nozzle, calibration of the equipment with the person who will do the application in your field. Why in your field? Because if I'm applying, for tropical fruits and there are trees, it's different if I have to apply for horticultural crops, isn't it? So calibration matters a lot, depending on what crop you are dealing with. So this is something we would like to do with you also in the field, bringing champions, hopefully. We can also use you to disseminate information. There is information we would like you to get today, and also to let you know they are getting activated again, back again, this unit from the Ministry of Agriculture. We are here with the orange and gray angels. Those are technicians from the field Ministry of Agriculture. So, and that should be your point of, focal point for you to get more information about this type of training and see if we can bring more bioproducts and try to do it in the field for you to see how it works in terms of regulation and control of the pests and diseases in the field. So thanks a lot for all of you that took the time to be with us today, and so apologies again for our Portuguese, Spanish mix of wording, but it's been great to have this opportunity and looking forward for the next time. So thanks a lot. Yes? It's the one that we trust better because we have been using it and we know that it lasts longer. In terms of the cost benefit, this one is one of the best ones. In South America, it's BASF, BASF, that is the company that sometimes sells also the product, also sell it, and it's the same brand, SZR.